Hey, what's up, geeks? Darron here. Now, in this series, I'm going to teach you how to code for free. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I've seen a lot of talk on the internet about boot camps being super expensive, from $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000. Learning to code should not be that expensive. Now, before I get into the series, I want to let you know who I am. I have 6 years of professional React Native development. So that's 6 years of professional software development experience. So I know how to build an application from the bottom up. And in this series, I'm going to teach you the basics of coding. That is from a for loop to variables, and it's going to progress from there. At the end of this series, you'll know how to build a professional mobile application. Now, in this series, the language you're going to use is JavaScript. That's not because JavaScript is better than any other language. It's just because I use JavaScript on a daily basis, and I'm going to teach you coding concepts using that language. We're also going to build mobile applications. So that means that we're going to use XCode and we're going to use Android Studio to build our applications. Now, I do have a GeekMODE membership where I teach React Native, and students meet with me on Sundays for about an hour or so, and we go over React Native concepts. That's not needed for this series. The series is completely free. That's only for people who are interested in React Native. And I also have a Discord where students can reach out to me directly. You also receive notifications about this series and any kind of other coding video. So I strongly advise you to subscribe to the Discord right now. If you're interested in this series and you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe right now and you turn on that notification bell. So if you want to learn to code for free, I want you to tune in and let's get into it. Hey, what's up, geeks? So to get started, we're going to install a few tools. Now, these tools are definitely tools that you need if you're going to be able to continue with this free coding course. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install our text editor. So the text editor choice that I use is, I actually use WebStorm. I'm going to check that out first. So if you search for WebStorm, you get here, you can download WebStorm. There's a 30-day free trial. But what WebStorm is an IDE. It's an IDE specifically for JavaScript applications. And JavaScript is the language that we're going to use for this coding tutorial. Now, if you don't want to use WebStorm, you can also go ahead and use Visual Studio Code. So if you go ahead and you search for Visual Studio Code, and then you can download this as well. Now, depending on what you did, if you actually downloaded Visual Studio Code, I have Visual Studio Code, so I strongly recommend that you install both WebStorm and Visual Studio Code. If not, you basically should download Visual Studio Code no matter what. So once you have Visual Studio Code downloaded and on your system, I want you to go ahead and open it. Now, once you have Visual Studio Code open, I want you to hold Command Shift P. Now, when you code Command Shift P, this should pop up. This is what you want to look for. You want to look for install code command and path. You can actually search for it, shell command. You want to install the code in your path. All right. So go ahead and just do that, and this message will appear. Let you know that the shell has successfully installed into the path. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and just close Visual Studio. Now, once you've done that, I want you to go ahead and search for iTerm2. iTerm2 should be your first option. So once you go ahead and select that, and then I want you to click download. Now I already have iTerm installed, but I want you to click download. And once you downloaded it, it's been successfully installed to your system. I want you to open it. Now once you've installed iTerm2, we're going to set it up a bit. Now the first thing we're going to do, I want you to go into your iTerm, go to Preferences, And this is only for Mac users. If you're not a Mac user, you can go ahead and just use the command line for Windows. But for Mac users, I want you to go ahead and select Profiles. And right here in General section, I want you to toggle this, Reuse Previous Session Directory. And then also you have the option to set up your colors, your background, your font size, etc. Mine is on 16. Now, once you've done that, we're actually going to style our terminal. As you can see, my terminal is pretty groovy right now. That's because I've done some additional setup. So to get started with here, I want you to search for power level 10K. And the link to this article is in the description below this video. So go ahead and click on that link and it should redirect you here. Now, what I want you to go ahead and just follow these steps. Follow each one of these steps all the way through. I want you to copy brew install, copy that, paste it into your text editor, into your terminal or command line, into your terminal. And I want you to do the same thing for each other command. Wonder what that's all about. But yeah, you want to go through each one of these commands. You want to copy them, copy and paste each one into your terminal. Now the reason I'm not going to do it is because I've already set up my terminal, and I do not want to reset up my terminal because I like the way it looks now. But after you go through these steps, you're going to have to, when you get to this step, once you get here, you went through all these steps, you're going to have to set up your search file. So what I want you to go ahead and do, once you get to this step right here in your terminal, I want you to run the command code squiggly dash ZSHRC. And that's going to open this file in your Visual Studio Code. And as you can see, once you've copied, you need to copy this and place it into your search file. I have mine here. Wherever this value is, you want to update it to power level 10K. Okay. And once you've done that, you want to run this in your command. Once you've done that, I want you to save this file. You can close it. You're going to run the command source, get the squiggly dot ZSHRC, and press enter. And that's going to basically load all the settings that you just set up. Now, this setup obviously is for Windows and Mac. I have a MacBook, so I can't do the Windows installation for you, but you can go through these steps. I'm sure you can figure it out. But yeah, here goes the power K. You can configure it. Just run a PK10 configure, and it's going to allow you to set up everything just like mine. All right. So once you have your terminal set up, the next thing you need to set up is Git. So I want you to search for Git install. And it should be the first option, which is git-scm.com. And once you get here, you want to download for Mac. Now, before we can run the command brew install, we need to install Homebrew. So I want you to go ahead and select Homebrew. And I want you to copy this command, go into your terminal, and you're going to run this command and press enter. Now I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. But once you want to copy that command, press enter, and it's going to install Homebrew. Now, you can pause this video until Homebrew is actually installed. But once you have Homebrew installed, what I want you to do, you're going to go back to your git install, and you're going to run this command, brew install git. Okay? Now I already have git installed, so even if I run brew install git, I'll copy it. It won't do too much of anything for me. Okay, so once you install Git, now we need to connect Git to GitLab. Now the reason we're even installing Git is because we need to do version control. Version control is something that's very popular for, well, it's expected for you to know as a professional developer. And I think that this tutorial is a great way if you actually learn how to do version control, understand what it is and how it works. And it's going to help you follow along with the course a lot better. It's going to help you become a better developer. So once you've installed Git, we're going to search for github.com. I want you to go to github.com. Now my GitHub is already set up, but I want you to go ahead and you're going to create a new account into GitHub. I want you to create, once you create your GitHub account, you're going to follow these steps. I'm going to an article that I use to actually connect my Git to my GitHub. Because right now you have Git installed on your system and you have a GitHub account, but they are not connected. So what you need to go ahead and do is you need to, and this article is going to be in the description to this video as well. So you can select the article in this description for Git setup. So you're going to copy the GitHub. You can skip this step because it's GitLab. We're on GitHub. So you can copy this here. And I want you to go to your terminal. You're going to paste in that command. And you're going to put whatever email you created, you used when you created your GitHub account. You're going to replace what's here with the GitHub email account. All right. Now, once you've done that, you press enter. It's going to build these two files for you. Okay. So right now we're going to copy our SSH keys into GitHub. So you're going to copy this command, go to your terminal, and you're going to press enter. Now, the next thing you're going to go ahead and do, you're going to go back to GitHub. So I'm going to go to GitHub. You're going to go to your settings. And you're going to go to your SSH and GPG keys. Now, I have a collection of these I don't even need this one anymore. Now, you're going to create a new SSH key. So you're going to select new, and then you're going to paste in your SSH. All right. You're going to give it a title and then press the add button. All right. I'm going to skip this step because I already have it set up on my system. Now, after this step, we're going to skip everything associated with GitLab. And to register your SSH key to your local machine, basically connect your local machine to GitHub, you're going to copy this command right here and then just press enter. All right. You're going to copy that in and press enter, and it's going to connect your account. Now, the next thing we need to go ahead and do, we need to run these two commands. So you're going to copy touch, this touch command. You're going to go to your terminal, already have this installed, and then you're going to press enter. I'm going to skip this step. And then after you've done that, do not copy this, because it's gonna open up, I can't remember the name, it's gonna open up a text editor within your terminal. You don't want to go ahead and do that. So I want you to copy what we have here, copy everything, including this dot. Copy everything here except the VI. And in your terminal, you're going to type in the command code space, and it's going to be the squiggly /.ssh. All right, config, and press return. And as you can see, once you open up this file, I want you to go ahead and copy everything that you have here for your GitHub account. Go to your Visual Studio and paste in that command. All right, paste in what you have here. And now you're good. You should be successfully connected your Git to your GitHub. Now, the next step you can do, this is optional. I actually prefer to use this because it's easy for me to check my versions. So we're going to install Git Kraken. Git Kraken is an awesome way to basically, it's a powerful Git CLI. It'll make sense later on in this course, but if you do not have to download this, but I strongly advise you to, you can use it for free. So just go ahead and download Git Kraken. Now, once you have Git Kraken installed, you don't really have to open it up. You can just save it for now. But the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to install XCode. Now, XCode can only be installed if you have a Mac OS system. So to install XCode, you're going to go into the App Store and you're going to search for XCode. And Xcode is right here, and it's going to ask you to Git, and all you're going to do is just select the Git button, press it, and download it. This download can take some time, so just be patient. Go ahead and take a break, but download Xcode so that you can actually run your iOS simulators. Okay. Now, once you've actually set up Xcode, what I want you to do, I want you to open Xcode. And within Xcode, I want you to go to your preferences. And I can't remember what tab it is. You want to install some platforms. So you're going to go ahead and select, add the plus sign, and you're going to click on iOS. And I want you to download the iOS simulators. Whatever ones you like, just go ahead and download those simulators. Just make sure it's just make sure that it's an iOS simulator. Don't download anything else, iWatch or anything like that. And then in locations, after you've done that, I want you to go to locations, right next to platforms. And I want you to make sure that your command line tools is selected. I want you to select the available command line tools. All right. Select that, and then you can close out. Now, after you've installed Xcode, I want you to go ahead and install Android Studio. So you're going to search for Android Studio. and you're going to go ahead and download Android Studio. All right, I already have Android Studio installed, so I'm going to skip this step. As you can see, it's installed. And from there, once you have Android Studio installed, now we're going to set up our React Native. So I want you to search for React Native installation. And it's your first option, React Native.dev. So yes, React Native.dev, and it redirected me here, but just in case you landed on this screen, I want you to select Get Started, and it's going to send you right over here. So right now I have iOS is toggled. So we're going to do our iOS setup first. Now we don't have to install Homebrew because we already did that. If I open up Homebrew was one of the steps that we did for setting up Git. So you should already have Homebrew installed. But after you installed Homebrew, I want you to copy this command. You're going to go to your terminal, paste in a command, and run enter, and press enter. And it's the same thing for your Watchman. You're going to copy this command, go to your terminal, and paste it in and press enter as well. Now we're also going to install Ruby. So Ruby is something that you're going to need for React Native because it doesn't come with the correct Ruby version out of the box. So once you select RVM, now once you're here, you want to run this command. You want to copy this command here, go to your terminal, paste it in, and then press enter. Now, this could happen to you because it did happen to me. When you run this command, you could encounter some issues. So if we go to the documentation, it says, in case you encounter issues or want to know more, you should run this command. So I want you to go ahead and copy this command, go back to your terminal, paste that in, and run it, press enter. Now, after you've done that, make sure you run this last step here, copy, press enter. All right. And after you installed Ruby successfully, you're going to go to your you're going to copy this command, ruby -- version, go to your terminal just to make sure you have Ruby installed. And this is the Ruby version that I have installed currently. And then you need to make sure that you have the correct React Native version as well. So I want you to click here, and it's going to let you know the Ruby version you need to use is 2.7.5. So you're going to copy this, and you're going to run the command rvm use 2.7.5. Now I actually have RVM, this version of Ruby installed, but you may not have it installed already. So this may not have worked for you. So you may have to run some command. Let me see. So yeah, you may have to run the command rvm install quotations, double quotes, Ruby - 2.7.5 double quotes to install this version. Press enter. See, I already have it installed, so I don't need to reinstall it. But once you've actually installed that version, then you want to run the command rvm use 2.7.5. Now, once you made it past that step, now we've already installed Xcode, and we went through these steps. We already added our command line tools, and we also installed our simulators. Now here are some additional steps if you're an M1 user. I actually had to run these steps myself because I have a Mac M1. You want to copy this command in here, go to your terminal, paste it in, press enter, and you want to do the same thing for this command. Press enter. Now, once we've done that, we're ready to actually build a React Native project. Now, what I want you to go ahead and do from here, I want you to copy what we have here, npx React Native init, copy this command, and I'm going to change my directory to my desktop. I'm going to remove awesome project and I'm going to say learning to code. That's what I'm going to name the project. It says yes with Gem. It asks me about the Cocoa Pods. Do I want to install it with Gem or within Homebrew? I'm going to select Gem, so I'll say yes. As you can see, there was a problem installing my Cocoa Pods, and I purposely did that just in case someone else got this error. So I want you to go ahead and do, if you got this error, you're going to copy what it says, please try again manually. You're going to copy this command right here. You're going to paste it in. Well, first, oh, sorry about that. So first, I got to change my directory. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to say cd learning. Oh, actually, it's already in our CD. So it's in my learning to code and pod install. So I'm going to see what it says, what the error was again. Okay. So I received an error. So what it's telling me to do in the terminal, it wants me to change my directory to learning to code /iOS. And then we're going to run this command bundle install. So we're going to copy what we have here, run the command bundle install. Now, after that's finished downloading, I want you to copy the third command, which is bundle execute pod install. Copy this, press enter. And as you can see, all of our pods are installing. Okay, so now that we have our pods installed, now the only thing left to do from here is to get our application up and running. So I'm going to go back one directory, and before I actually run our app, we're going to install Yarn. So I'm going to search for install Yarn. And to install Yarn, you need to copy this command here. Press enter. I already have Yarn installed on my system. But anyways, once you have Yarn installed, now you can run the command yarn start. and this is going to get your Metro bundler up and running. Now, your Metro bundler is what you need to actually run a React Native application. Next, I'm going to press Command T to open a new tab. That is Command T. And I'm going to run this command, open space dot, and I'm going to press enter. Now this is going to open our project directory. Now, once we have our project directory open, I want you to go to iOS directory. You're going to have two Xcode projects. The white Xcode project is the one that we want to use. It's our Xcode workspace. So I want you to select this. Now you may have to agree to the terms of Xcode before you can actually start using this. But when you first install Xcode, it's going to ask you to, do you agree to using its terms? Just go ahead and accept the terms and go through that process. I'm going to wait for our profiles to finish indexing. Okay, so once the files have completed, first thing I want you to do is go ahead and select the device that you want to use. Just make sure that the device is an iPhone, whatever device you choose. I have an iPhone 14 Pro. I'm going to press play. Now you can see we have our React Native application successfully up and running on our simulator. Now we need to do the same thing for Android. So I'm going to shut this down. So I'm going to go back to my React Native documentation and I'm going to select Android. Now we've already installed Node and we've installed Watchman. Now we have to install our JDK development. So we're going to run these two commands. I want you to copy brew tap homebrew cast versions. Tap that, paste this in, and then press enter. Now, once that's finished installing, I want you to copy the second command and do the same thing, paste it and press enter. Now, once you've successfully done that, you should have already installed Android Studio. So I'm going to go ahead and open Android Studio. Now, once you've installed Android Studio and you've opened it, what I want you to do is select SDK Manager. So you're going to go to these three dots here and select SDK Manager. Now, once you've done that, what I want you to do, we're going to look for Android 12s, which is here. So we're going to expand it, show package details, Android 12.os. Now, once you've done that, you want to install a few of these as well, these few packages. So Android SDK Platform 31. So you want to select this, Android SDK Platform 31. And right now it says there's three options. You can install Intel if you're not using a M1 chip, or you can install this if you're not using an M1 chip, Google APIs, Intel. I'm using a Mac M1, so I need to run Google APIs ARM64, which I have, Google TV ARM64. This is good. This is what you want right here. And go ahead, and I'm going to install this one too, just in case. Now, once you've done that, you can just select apply. Well, hold on, let me make sure there's show package details. So if I go to package details, SDK tools, here it goes. You want to select 31. Okay, and then once you select it, I just want to click apply. Now, once you finish installing everything, you can go ahead and select finish, select OK. Now we're going to open our project. So I want you to select open. I'm going to go to my desktop, select the project Learning to Code, and I'm going to select Android and click open. So as this is building, I'm going to take a look at the React Native installation. Now we have to set up our root. So this is going to vary from person to person. If you actually set up your terminal at the beginning of this video, you have a Zurch file. I have a Zurch file, but you may be using Bash or a different text editor or whatever. But I'm using Zurch. So I'm going to copy this right here. And within my terminal, I'm going to run the command code, and I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to open my Zurch file. Now I'm going to copy everything we have here. Everything that's here, I'm going to copy this stuff. And I'm going to paste it right here. As you can see, I already have it set up. Here's my Android setup, and I paste everything here. I'm going to save it. So once you've done that, you want to go back to your terminal and you want to run the command source dash, and I'm doing shrc because that's what I use. You may have used something else, but you want to make sure you use the command source followed by the path and press enter. And what that's going to do is going to save everything that you've actually changed within your xerts directory. And as you can see, that's the step it tells you to run to make. We don't need to do that, but you can make sure it has been set up successfully if you copy this command. And as you can see, I echoed Android SDK root, and it's able to find it. So you know it's been successfully installed and set up. So we've already built our project, so we don't need to follow these steps. Everything is good to go from here. You can see that there's a new version of Android that I'm not using, but it doesn't really matter. I'll go ahead and do that later. But you can also set up different devices. So I want you to select your device. And if you don't have a device, you can create a new device and select whatever one you like. And then select next. Download whatever system image you want. Select next. You can name it whatever you like, and then click finish. Now, once you've done that, you should have a device that shows up here. And once you're in your terminal, you're going to run the command yarn. You may actually get another error within your Android Studio. I want to make sure that this is all set up correctly as well. So if you go to advanced settings, you click on this pencil right here and you select show advanced settings. Make sure your internal storage, everything looks identical to mine. All right, because you want to make sure you have enough space to actually run the application. And once you've set that up, just select finish. And then what you're going to go ahead and do is wipe data. Just basically it's going to restart your emulator as if it's a new emulator, which it is. Now, once you've done that, you're going to go to your terminal and your Metro bundle should already be running. And we're going to run this command, yarn Android. Press enter. Okay, so now we have our application successfully running on both iOS and Android. Now there's one last thing we need to do. We built a React Native project, but now we need to push our project to Git. And I'm going to show you exactly how that looks. So I'm going to go back to github.com, and within my profile, I'm going to select repositories and I'm going to select new. This repository is going to be called Learning to Code. This is going to be public, so you guys can come to this repository whenever you like. You can check out the code. So make sure you don't select anything else, and then you select create repository. Now we're going to run these commands to actually get up and running. So I'm going to run, I'll do echo, copy the echo, paste this in. That's going to create our README file. This is going to initialize our project to Git. Initializing our app basically says that our app now has version control. As you can see, initialize the repository. And also tells us the master is the default initial branch, but you can change it whenever. Next, it says we need to add, I'm not going to run add readme. Instead, I'm going to say git add, and I'm going to add the asterisk, the star, and press return. So if I run the command git status, as you can see, all the files that are in green are what we want to change. All right. So I'm going to do one last thing as well. I'm going to run code dot, because I want to make some changes to this file before I push it. Right here. So I opened up this ESLint rc.js file. I'm going to add the rules property and add curly brackets. Make sure you add curly brackets if you want to follow along with this. And prettier / prettier, its value is going to be 0. So I'm going to save this. Now, when I say git status, now, right as you can see, all these green files are being added to our GitHub, except these files. So in order to add these files, I'm going to run this command, git add dot. Now when I run git status, everything's added. Okay, and as you can see, we're on our master branch. Now I'm going to copy what we have here, git commit, first message, my first commit. I'm going to paste this in here. As you can see, everything's been committed. And I'm going to run this as well, git branch-m main. So this is going to change our master branch from master to main. As you can see, it was master, now it's main. Next, I'm going to copy this command right here. This is going to allow us to add it to GitHub. And lastly, we're going to push our code, pushing our code to our GitHub repo. So it says I need to add my credentials. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now GitHub has successfully pushed our project to GitHub. So in GitHub, if I refresh, as you can see, everything looks good. Our project is now on GitHub, and you can basically view everything. If we go into our ESLint file that I just updated, you can see rules.prettier has been added as well. And then I'm also going to open our project in Git Kraken so you can get an idea of how that works. Oh, let me install Git Kraken. So Git Kraken. I think I have it installed on my work laptop. I'm going to move Git Kraken into my applications. Okay. And sign up with GitHub. This doesn't even matter. Wish I can select a different, I don't know why it selected that. Well, anyways, create profile. Okay, but anyways, now I'm going to open my repo and open repository, go to my desktop, learning to code. And as you can see now, oh, what is this all about? Oh, this is moving around too fast. As you can see, now we have our initial GitHub commit, first commit, and you can see our graph of what our commits look like. You can see all the files that are pushed as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. The installation process can be kind of complex and errors are prone to happen. So if you have any issues, make sure you reach out to me on our Discord. So make sure you subscribe to Discord. You can reach me directly. You can also reach any other student that is learning how to code, because they may have encountered the same issue, and they can help you get through that. Also, if you want to stay up to date on the releases for learning to code on a weekly basis, make sure you subscribe and activate your notification bell so you get updated on when everything is actually being posted. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.